Welcome to Politics Done Right on KPFT. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Give me a call at 713-526-5738. That is 713-526-KPFT. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host, and I'm with you tonight, folks, with a heavy heart. I'm with you tonight on a day that travesty once more has been effected upon a community. A travesty has been effected on the black community and on every community that has been aggrieved at some time by the brutality of a police department. But before we get started, please do remember this is KPFT, Houston 90.1, Galveston 89.5, Goodrich Livingston 90.3, Huntsville 91.9. You know, folks, today I had my blog of the week. I had a whole lot of stuff that I wanted to start with. I was going to touch on the Michael Brown case, the Darren Wilson execution of Michael Brown, but I decided that I wanted to get into Lawrence Lessig before, because money in politics is a dangerous thing. He did something that was by creating a super PAC following the same direction of the plutocracy to attempt to bring sensibility to our politics, and he failed knowingly. We all knew that was going to happen. However, I was going to start there, but I decided this is too important. The Michael Brown assassination is too important for us to move on some other subject on this point or as yet, folks. This is serious. If one does not understand how serious this is, one does not have the empathy to deal with all humans at large. There is a problem in America whenever you find that humanity of some is no humanity at all. Humanity of some has no humanity with regards or in regards to some at all. That is a problem. As I am here speaking to you, I am listening to the interview on CNN concurrently, because I simply cannot believe. Yes, I'll have a blog of the week depending on how the calls come in. But folks, I want you to call in. I want to hear your views, and I don't want to only hear one point of view. If you also think that there is some reason why Officer Darren Wilson should not have at least had his day in court before just being anointed with innocence, I want to hear from you. 713-526-5738, 713-526-KPFT. I want to hear from you. Are you mad out there that it is okay, irrespective of what some kid does, to have that kid executed by cop? Is that okay? Is that okay? You know, there is not, my friend here said for a minute, there are instances that we talk about nuances. Folks, there ain't no bad English, no nuances here, period. There's no nuance. A kid was executed with several bullets. over a period of many seconds. There is time evidence. No one needs to dispute that. This does not happen in isolation. We've seen several instances before, and we've done shows on this before, and we have written blogs on this before, where a cop has stopped another young black man, asked him to get his wallet, and as he gets his wallet, he's shot multiple times. There is no accident here, folks. America should wake up to the realities of the type of country we have always been, and we have been attempting not to be. This is serious, and Americans should be appalled. White, black, everybody at this point in time should be appalled. Let's bring Terry in. Terry, how are you doing today, sir?
Always good, Egberto. How are you?
Your thoughts?
I'm not at all surprised. I guess this is exactly what I expected. This is a further codification of the ability of police departments across the country to execute citizens at their discretion. Be they black, white, brown, or yellow, they have no concern that their actions are going to be adjudged.
Go ahead,
they know that they can get away with it. This is just another affirmation of that.
I listened to the entire speech that the prosecutor gave as he tried to give the reasons why it was okay for Darren Wilson to execute Mr. Brown. I listened to him, and what was amazing was all the bends, the twists that they had to make to justify that it was okay to lay that much lead into another human being. It was amazing, the justification given, twisting in the winds, choosing who to decide to believe is accurate.
Well, it's a very simple analysis, and full disclosure, I'm not a lawyer, nor do I play one on television. But here's the easy question that could have been asked of Mr. Wilson. Have you ever been punched by a suspect? Yes. Have you executed all suspects who've ever punched you? He would hesitate. He would not be able to say, no, he has not. And that his lie would be exposed. The further question becomes, why does the safety of the officer grant him a license to execute anyone and everyone to whom he feels is a threat? And then, obviously, what constitutes a threat? Because I have yet to have anyone explain to me satisfactorily, why is it when your back is turned and you're fleeing a police officer, you continue to be a threat?
It is amazing. I am lost for words, Terry. Like I said, I had a feeling that this was going to happen, but what I didn't know was the depth of feelings that would have gone into me in watching what has occurred here. Because I don't think, you know what I think got to me most, Terry? And Chris, I'm coming to you next. You know what got to me, Terry? Not just that they no-billed the guy. That was something that most of us expected. What got to me was the idiocy of his description of events to lead us to believe it was justified that this person executed this man, this young man. They had to jump through hoops, and it brings back memories of how the aggrieved in this country has always been aggrieved in such a manner that had some sort of tacit justification. And that is sad. And that is something that we must work on. For all those people that are listening out here, folks, when we talk about your vote matters, if those people in Ferguson had been voters, they would not have had a police force that is of the type of police force that it has. So while it is sad that this has occurred, it is also, Ferguson, you better start doing your job. Because
and they would have also been members of the grand jury pool.
Exactly. You better do your job. You are partially responsible for the execution of your own. Stay with me, Terry. Chris, you're next. Chris.
Yes, hello. I would like to make a comment as to this is a situation that obviously carries a lot of, it's so emotionally charged that the truth of this situation is never going to be known. But to me, calling it an execution, I mean, that's extrapolating the situation out a little. In my belief of this, in my opinion, the situation just a tad too far. There was in fact a struggle.
I agree.
I'm not justifying the incident. I'm not justifying the shooting, but there was in fact a struggle.
I agree, Chris. I agree with you, my dear friend. There was a struggle. Not only.
No, wait, please. Let me.
Yeah, please continue.
Further.
Continue.
There was a struggle before this. Why has anyone not questioned what the justification was for struggling with an officer of the law? If you are not in the commission of a crime, now trust me, I understand. Here, right behind my statement is the statement of, well, you don't understand. You're not from this community. You are not of such and such race. Which to me, as soon as that point of view is brought in as a counterpoint to where I'm going, the conversation is over, because I've experienced, as a person of the lower economic bracket, I've experienced the how the law works that way.
Right.
So I'm just going to say that once that argument comes in, it's out of the way. I've experienced good police officers and bad police officers. I do not know this man, but I do know that when you institute a struggle with someone, for people to say that this man is unarmed, and this is a fact, this is something I'm telling you, you can take a look out there. There are people who die in this country every year from a single blow to the head from a closed fist, whether it is the knockout blow that hits them or whether there is the follow-up concussion when they hit the ground. There are people who die from a single blow. Does this happen every day? And am I suggesting that Michael Brown has this ability simply because of his size? No. But I'm saying that when people take this into this context and they do not address the fact that in this country we have a problem with, and KPFT is certainly a pacifist station, and there's a lot of people who are proponents for gun control and arms control and when you're a police officer, you have no idea what you're walking into. A struggle 1 minute is a fist fight. A struggle the next minute, you're getting stabbed. A struggle the minute after that, this person has your weapon or they have a weapon of their own. So I just ask people when they view this as an execution or something like that, no, I think this is a tragedy that went completely off the rails and went to a place that never should have went.
Okay, Chris, let me tell you. Good. First of all, there's merit to your conversation, assuming there ain't no context. There's a lot of merit to what you've said. If one does not look at this particular issue within context, okay? Let me first characterize Michael Brown. Was Michael Brown a saint? No. Was Michael Brown likely somewhat a bad person at times? Absolutely so. Yes.
Not even.
No, but I'm not done. Hold 1 second, Chris. Chris, I gave you your entire piece. Please let me finish.
Yes, sir, excuse me.
Okay. Now, there could be all kinds of things we say about Michael Brown. I am speaking specifically about the action of this police. The action of this police to chase down somebody and fill him up with lead is not policing. And let me tell you further, I live in Kingwood, Texas, a nice upper middle class town, and I have personally viewed the same behavior of kids out there that Michael Brown has. And those kids will never, ever once have to worry about the indignity suffered by Michael Brown. And let me take that a little further, Chris, because there's a lot, when I tell you there's a whole lot of context to look at this into. The mere fact that this guy's body was desecrated on the streets in Ferguson for 4 to 5 hours. I have never seen such a thing occur in any place of that sort. The lack of humanity that was displayed. Secondly, context again. Nobody in that police force made any attempt to talk to his loved ones. I mean, this was not the treatment of another human. It was not. And what I'm saying is, I understand your point. I truly, truly do. I really do understand your point. And I do, like my engineer here, while we were talking, he did mention Egberto, nuances. And I said, I am a very practical young man. You guys have heard my show many times. I am always conciliatory. I always try to get people together. That's what we should be all about.
No, but you're right. And speaking of the context of the situation, we can also look, to me, what does it say about this area where this crime took place, with supposedly the alleged crime that Michael Brown committed before this was not even reported by the store owner, and where after this incident, that very store owner, even though he never reported the incident to the police, was victimized by the neighborhood that he lives in.
Look,
what does this say? What does this say?
It's horrendous. Let me tell you what that context says. That context represents a lot of what is wrong with what is wrong with America and not having the support for the So I mean, we agree on these issues. But what I want people to concentrate on, Chris, and I really mean this. This is not, this is a black issue specific because black folks suffer this at the hands of cops more than anybody. Let me finish.
I'm sorry. I know you're not familiar from this area, but I grew up in a lower economic area.
Yes.
And I didn't get, even though I was the only white boy in the block, I never got a pass from the cops.
I don't think you.
No one ever.
My dear friend, if you read my blogs, if you read my blogs, I didn't mean to speak over you. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Excuse me. Please go ahead.
Yeah. If you read my blogs, you would see that I actually support some of what you say. But there's one other issue, sir, that I hope someday you would read, and it's something known as white privilege. Look, you're a great guy. I am speaking to you on the mere fact that you're talking to me. And I do believe that you are the type of guy that want positive affirmations or positive interactions with all folks. But there's something that you have that I, as a black man here, don't have, and that's called white privilege. It's interesting that I just came back from San Francisco early this morning on a red eye. I was with Move to Amend, and we had a class on this particular types of issues. And by the way, yes, in your community, because of where you are going to be treated like that community for a large part. But still, please do remember.
For all intensive purposes, and being a person of slightly mixed heritage,
right,
where my physical appearance can sometimes be confusing to people.
There you go.
Even puts me in more of that. So to me, the white privilege almost is something that is manufactured on the spot. Does it exist in?
For you, you're saying
in group settings? Yes, sir. In group settings. Sure, it exists in group settings, but I myself was not it's a very difficult thing. It's a very difficult thing as my journey, the journey that I went through growing up in this area. We were victimized, we were victimized not because of
race, but because of economic status.
Well, because of economic status. The law looks at you a certain way. This is where you're from. Or this is where you're from, then this is who you are.
Chris, you know something? There's a lot there's a lot of truth to what you're saying, dear friend. There's absolutely a lot of truth to that. The only thing that I'm asking you to do is let's maintain some context, because I want folks to look at this. I'm going to come to you in a second, Jacob. I want people to look at this issue in the proper context. And I think the proper context is that we have to look. And I know everything that you're saying, Chris, but try to see a bit through my eyes. You have to also look at it through a racial context for this particular issue, for the guy who got shot up in South Carolina, for the guy who got taken down in New York. If you take a look at the numbers, it's interesting because Rudy Giuliani went on TV against Michael Eric Dyson yesterday, and he said the reason white cops have to be in your community is because your community, there's a 93% black on black crime. To which I said, wow, context is so important, because immediately thereafter I went to a Matthew Iglesias piece written that said, oh my God, there's a problem with white on white crime. 85% of white, this, in other words, the same proportionality they have there. So, I mean, it is.
You are victimized by the people you live in.
Exactly.
If you're a victim of crime, you're more than likely.
Exactly, Chris. And what I'm saying, though, is, however, when Giuliani said it the way, and go to my website, egbertowillies.com, and check out that video, because when it's looked in the context of the way Rudy Giuliani said it, somehow it's like, oh my God, look at how those people are killing themselves.
It's skewed. It's skewed.
Exactly. And that's.
I don't believe in the portrayal of the black poor neighborhoods as a crime factory.
Thank you.
Any poor neighborhood is a crime factory.
You know, Chris, and you know, we need folks like you. I mean, even though we didn't necessarily agree on everything in the beginning, I think we could sit down and have a cup of coffee, start talking context, and find out that we agree more than.
Let me give you your show back, please. And I really would like to encourage you, gentlemen, and continue what you do. Although it's a very emotionally charged issue, like you said, we may not come together. Y'all are doing the type of work that needs to be done, the type of conversations that need to be had.
Thank you, Chris. Look, you have a wonderful day, and thanks for calling in. You have a wonderful day, Dwayne. Come on in. Come on in, Dwayne.
Hey, how's it going, Egberto?
I'm fine, sir. Talk to me.
And I'm going to try not to be too controversial here tonight, but...
as long as you use clean words, no dirty words.
Okay. I hear that young man talking now, but he doesn't walk in a black man's shoes, and I'm just going to say that. So, therefore, if we want to go back to what he's talking about and say that... Hold on, I'm looking for something here right now.
Yeah, but you know, Dwayne, I did a little boo, but my engineer wanted to say something, and I try to get young people in here as well. So you stay hot with me. I just want Jacob to have a little part of this conversation as well. Jacob, say your point.
Cool, thank you. I am one of, and I mentioned this off the air. I am one of those people with a certain nuanced view of this. Now, for one, as a preface, a very important preface. Yeah, there is a problem with police violence. Far too many people get killed by police, particularly people in black and brown communities. But I also try to follow the evidence and take it on a case-by-case basis. One thing that stood out to me, one takeaway from this is just how lousy eyewitness testimony is, and that's a blade that cuts both ways. I was kind of stunned by when we were watching the him
Dwayne,
give the statement.
Hold 1 second, Jacob. Dwayne, could you turn your radio down a bit, please? Because it's coming over. Go ahead.
Okay.
One thing that did stun me that he did say during his address was that some witnesses admitted they didn't actually see anything. They just repeated what they had heard in the neighborhood, and that was kind of like that was sort of a facer.
Jake, hold on a second, Dwayne. Jacob, I need to address that because that part of the conversation really got me upset because I know how questioning work. Okay, when you're in front of a prosecutor asking you questions or whatever, and I know how a lot of people who are being interrogated feel. There are times that when I get a lead-in question, or there are times when lead-in questions are given that you modify your answer. The thing about it is, there's no, we can say how difficult eyewitness testimony is.
And that cuts both ways.
But what I'm saying, it is usually difficult for convenience. In other words, if you had what we had there, I mean, we had not there were two guys standing at a car with a cell phone camera rolling in real time. That narrated what was occurring in real time. That is a type of testimony that one accepts because.
Hello?
Hold on a second, Dwayne. I'm not done yet. I'm coming to you right now, Dwayne. There's one type of testimony of that type that was completely ignored when he actually spoke about it. So I'm saying you're correct. Eyewitness testimony is not always accurate, but coerced eyewitness testimony is a big problem as well.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. There are certainly prosecutors who don't behave in a very ethical manner, and I don't want in any way to make it seem like I'm saying that that's not true. But again, it cuts both ways. It got a no bill for this guy Darren Wilson, and eyewitness testimony also sent Troy Anthony Davis to his death. Where, if memory serves, I think he was sent to death on the eyewitness testimony of 7 or 9 people, non-police,
right?
And I think all of them but 2 recanted.
Now there's some more. There's again, I always talk about context. So let me bring Dwayne in, and Dwayne, make your point.
Okay, but just to say that the prosecutor would. As he read out all of that stuff, and I was sitting there at the house listening to it, I'm on the street now. But as he read out all that stuff and how he heard from witnesses and then other witnesses recanted their testimony and stuff, and the way he ran it down, to me, it was nothing but a whitewash of what they did. And that in general,
I agree with you, Dwayne. I agree with that 100%. I mean, it's funny that you and I listened to it the same way. They were they were building a case of innocence. They weren't building a case of let's observe what has occurred. They were attempting to build a case for a particular outcome. That outcome being the executioner of Michael Brown being let free. Continue, please.
And as that goes, we've had 2 shootings in the last 2 weeks, or maybe not even in the span of 2 weeks, where one young man up in New York was shot in a dark alley by a scary police officer. And then we have in Ohio where a little 12-year-old boy got shot down with a toy gun. And nobody ever thought, now one of these police has ever thought to go up and ask those people, hey, young man, what you got there? What you doing?
You know,
this is the part of policing that has been left out.
Dwayne, look, let me tell you, the reason I asked Chris to please look into context, right, is that these are not isolated incidences. I mean, there's the young man in, I think it was Ohio, just a few days.
That's a 12-year-old boy. He was in Ohio. The young man was in New York.
Right.
Buffalo.
No, but
I mean, not Buffalo, but anyway, he was in New York. The 12-year-old kid was in Ohio.
I know, but the point I'm trying to make, Dwayne, is that these are not isolated instances. These are not isolated incidences. I have been blogging now. What I decided to do is started blogging these occurrences in the several states around the country. And when I tell you that I've lost count, the young man who somebody called the police while he was in Walmart, he had a BB gun. And he was pointing it at nobody or whatever. He just was walking around the store, and the cops came in. They didn't say stop or anything. They just shot him dead. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not. And for all those that are listening that saying, oh, there they go again. These these guys are thugs that are getting. Look, I hope that I'm an upstanding young man or old man, whatever you want to call me. But the thing about it is, as a black man, I do fear when things of this nature occurs. I remember the Trayvon Martin case gave the average American citizen the right to kill by just saying, I am fearful of that person. These cops have already had that right. I fear, or I think he's coming at me, I can kill him. And the thing about it is, when you feel that a particular set of folk are less than human, that doesn't matter, because it is so much easier than to kill. Go ahead and make your final point, Dwayne, please.
Yeah, but when you don't respect that person or his color, then you already have that in your mind. If you don't respect me or my color, then you feel that you're superior to me, and you strap with a gun, and you can just that gun to do what you want, because that's the line of work that you do.
Yes.
You don't have to respect me or anybody else.
You know something,
It
Dwayne?
doesn't matter.
Dwayne, let me tell you, I got to go to Ali, but I want to tell you something, Dwayne. What we have to do as a society, and I don't mean just black folks, I mean good thinking everybody, is it's time for us to stop sitting our butts down at home and get out there to vote. Say your piece, Jake. Dwayne, I appreciate you calling. Keep listening. If you need to say something else, I'll just call me back, but I need to go to somebody else right now, okay?
Okay, Egberto.
Thank you very much, sir. And point well taken. Before I get to Ali, did you want to say something, Jacob?
Yeah, just a quick remark as far, because context is important.
Right.
Not only there was that ridiculous shooting, and tragic, of course, of the guy with the BB gun in the Walmart,
right.
And then there was a black guy who was cosplaying as an anime character and he was shot for having a sword. Right. Yeah, certainly it's a problem. There is too much police violence and far too many people get killed.
Right, but what I'm saying is, it is antiseptic. It is very antiseptic, Jacob, to say there is police violence. We have to leave the antisepticism and start saying whom the violence mostly affect.
Certainly. No, I mean, that's with all due respects to that. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
But, I have been in a position, I've never fired my weapon in combat. I've never been in a firefight. Hopefully I never do. And I know,
right.
Just bear with me on this. The 12-year-old in Cleveland, from what I understand from the news reports that I did read, it was an airsoft gun without the orange safety tip on it. And as the police officer approached the kid, he pulled it out of his waist and, for the lack of a better term, that was that. Shot him dead over that.
My question to this is always the case is, why is the police having to be there? So, I mean, there's a lot of instances like this. I mean, a lot of times, a lot of times these neighborhoods are treated like armed camps. Why did the police have to be there so that that eventuality have to happen? I tell you the blog that I wrote, and I'm coming to you next, Ali, and there's a call coming in right now as well. But I want you to hear this as well, Jacob. There's a time that that occurred. Well, I'll take this afterwards. Bring Ali Hat for me. Ali, talk to me.
Oh, yes. I'm Roberto. I'm glad I'm almost on cheerlead for you. I'm glad you cleared that up when you used that term antiseptic, because it is most definitely used to try to say in a sly type of way, well, they really didn't have no choice,
Right.
Because, and these are coming from liberals. They're the ones saying this. In essence, but they did have a choice. And I'm just going to cite 2 examples that just recently happened. One example, a Caucasian fellow. He wasn't 12. He was in his 30s. He managed to kill a whole family and tried to kill the last member of the family, and then going to kill a whole nother family, chased by the police. And they managed to get his gun away from him, and everybody knew it was real, and everybody knew it.
And they brought him in alive.
That's what I'm saying.
Ali, Ali, the reason I'm interrupting you here is because there's another case that is just as important as that one. I did a blog about this where, because I wanted to give the contrast about Walmart. In a Walmart case, a friend of mine at Daily Coast was the initial poster of this guy. But you had all these guys, these particular white guys from the gun, these gun-toting guys walk into a Walmart with all these particular guns. No one felt the need that these guys were threats. And I can give you incidences after incidences of this occurrence. And that's why whenever we have, and with all due respect to my engineer, I love you, Jacob, but nuances is no longer an option, because when you have the circumstances that a particular group is the one that always suffer this quantifiable police brutality, quantifiable police violence, and quantifiable violence from what do you call from not militia? We are from militia guys or from when guys like myself, I am sorry. We are intelligent folks, and we must look at where the facts lead.
But see, Roberto, this is the thing. And I mean this with all the depths of my heart. It is hard for a Caucasian guy to say that, because he will be indicting his whole group.
No, but Ali. You may be correct, okay? What you and I need to make is for that statement that you just made not to be correct. We need to give the space to all honest folk, irrespective of their race, creed, values, religion, or whatever, to be able to be allies. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, this is the point, though. You see, and I know that you study history.
Yes, sir.
African-American people have always given that space to Caucasians. But they think that they are superior, and if it's not in the front of their mind, it's in their subconscious. So they will make statements like, well, although he was 12, the policeman didn't see the red dot on the gun. Now, here's another example. The guy dressed up like the Joker, go into a movie theater, try to kill everybody in the theater. He come out without a scratch on him.
I mean, look, like I said, we have to not be antiseptic about this issue. I agree with you, Ali. And Jack, I'm coming to you next. You're correct. Now, I am my position is always to be fact-based, tell the truth, tell it as it is, and at the same time give everybody that space to come on the side of the facts and the side of truth. And if you don't go there, and what you spoke about with some folks, there's a thing called, I don't know if you've studied something known as, and folks don't understand it, usually kind of run from the word, but there's a thing known as white supremacy. It's actually a complete it's not a theory. It's a complete learning thought that a lot of folks need to go into. And in fact, we were I was in San Francisco this weekend, and we went over this whole modal, and it's something that we're trying to bring out to, we have a whole lot of affiliate organizations where we're actually showing why it is so important that we get through this issue. Ali, if you have anything else, let me know, because I got to jump to Jack and I need to give a station ID.
Well, just one thing, and this is for all Caucasians. Come into the water and live your humanity truly, because you're making those statements with antiseptics. You're not living out the true meaning of your humanity. And you cannot hide by joining organizations like KPFT, because it's going to come out.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ali. You keep on listening and you keep on calling, my brother. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Folks, this is KPFT FM 90.1 Houston, 89.5 Galveston, 90.3 Goodrich, Livingston, 91.9 Huntsville. This is call-in show. We have 3 lines open. Please give us a call, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. I want to hear your point of view. I want to hear from you, no matter whether you think you agree with me or not, because I want to hear the thoughts. I want to hear the thoughts. Jack, you're hot.
So I'm calling in, and I never call, but I'm calling in because I like your program, number one. Number two, though, is I haven't heard anything about the grand jury. I mean, our system is not perfect, but a grand jury heard and no billed this. I mean, you could say the prosecutor did this, the police officer did that, Michael Brown did this. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, our system has a group of people who listen to all the facts that we don't have all the privy to, but and may they be distorted or whatever our system does. They came up with a decision, and having been on the side of a victim or of crime, even in here in Montgomery County, I've been very disappointed in the grand jury's decisions. Now, I know the stakes are so high here, but at the end of the day, I don't hear anybody saying, hey, what about the grand jury? Gosh, we have an imperfect system. It doesn't sound like they came up with an answer that I would have come up with should I have been on the grand jury. But they did make a decision. And how do we avoid making this a racial issue? Now, I'll say one more thing.
Okay, I wanted to answer that, but go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead and answer that.
Yeah,
Give
first
me
of all,
a conclusion.
Right. You said there is a grand jury. Let me tell you how I live my life. I am a business owner. I'm a professional. I do all, I do all the things right, but I still, one of the things I always keep in the back of my head is I never want to ever come across the justice system. When you say the justice system is imperfect, you're correct. The problem for somebody like me, Jack, is it's so much more imperfect for me or for folks who look like me. We are generally, absent O.J. Simpson, which that's a different class situation. We are generally, and I'm talking about black, whether you're black, Hispanic, black, Latino, whatever the case. Generally speaking, the imperfection of the system hits us much harder. And what I need folks like yourself to be able to empathize with is that that the system is more imperfect to me. It takes somebody like you doing something about it. I can't do anything about it.
All right, let me do something to you here, and I don't know if you get this.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm talking. I happen to be a doctor, and I happen to be taking a little time off. But suffice it to say that I've been trained in surgery, and that when my own personal thing is, I don't pay attention to. I know I notice color and race and all that, but at the end of the day, after being working on inside of people and all that, and seeing that all the organs are the same and all that once you get past the skin. My own little comment to you, and with all due respect, is you have no idea what color I am. You have no idea what my experience have been. You don't know if I'm white, black, Hispanic. You have no idea.
And you know what? I let me first be a man and just apologize for not having asked first. Are you a white man?
Why should you? Why should?
And let me tell you. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
I respect. I understand. I've heard the white privilege thing and all that.
Right.
But just to tell you that I hate to be categorized one way or another. And the beauty of radio is you can't. You just have to listen to my comments. And whatever language I'm speaking or whatever accents I have, and judge them for what they are. I know I really enjoy the different perspectives, just like you do. But I just want to make a point: is that perhaps sometimes we should just evaluate the comment, even if it's in type, where you don't make conclusions and say, "Oh, that person can't possibly understand me because they're not like me." Well, you don't know that yet, and let's say I was like you. Let's say I was like you, maybe in a different way. Maybe I've been persecuted because I was in another country where they want to get rid of my ethnic group or something like that. My point is, oppression's bad. Police abuse is bad. Given the situation in America, how could we learn from this but not distort it and make it a deeper divide and do something about this white privilege or whatever you believe is interfering? Okay,
Jack, let me ask you something first. Do you think that I come across less than with an attempt to be conciliatory or try to do that? How do I come across to you?
I cannot differentiate. You're having a great program, and I don't know if part of the reason you come across is from a polarity standpoint is to make great radio.
Okay.
Or if I got you one-on-one, whether you would be different. But let me assume that you're not making great radio. You are making great radio, but you're not doing it on the purpose. What I get, my comment is sometimes when I listen to other KPFT programs, it's not a lot different than Fox.
Oh my God!
Other stuff, except for it's from the opposite perspective. So they're making the same generalizations and things like that, but it's from the other perspective. I think you're speaking from the heart and truth, and there's a lot to learn from what you're saying. However, I'm skeptical a little bit. I question whether or not we're distorting the real issue or we're creating more problems by saying execution and all that kind of stuff like that. Does that make any sense? It's hard to sit here on the phone.
No.
I
understand what you're saying. Let me tell you how I try to come across. I try to come across, first of all, in such a manner that we enhance communication. Okay, that's the first thing, and I think that's what we're doing here, and we're doing a good job. Now, you just hurt my feelings by saying that we actually somehow look or sound like Fox News. We're liberals, but not Fox News.
No,
but,
I mean, you're making the same. When I'm listening, I think those guys are bozos. But to tell you the truth, it's the same sort of prejudicial, prejudicial approach to whatever the subject is. You know, like it's almost like a selection bias. You're kind of identify with something you agree with, and then building a great case for it. And I find they do that. Actually, I think KPFT is a much more intelligent approach, but nonetheless, it's sort of a bias.
Okay, well, look, Jack, I really appreciate your talk. I hope you continue to listen. I hope you continue to call in and make your point, because that's what I like to hear. Now, I do want to tell you make one specific point. And this is not hyperbole. I'm not attempting to make radio or anything like that. Like I said before, there are certain facts that are facts. And like I mentioned before, when it comes to those who the justice system treats a little bit more or a lot more imperfect than many. And I hope that if, you're a doctor, you're a learned man, it's not hard to see that. Hell, visit my blog, egbertowillies.com. I blog about this stuff with the numbers all of the times. I would love to keep a dialogue with you, and drop a line at our Politics Done Right on Facebook page. But look, I appreciate you calling and keep listening. Okay, my friend?
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Martha.
Yes. Thank you for taking my call. I live in a city almost similar to
Ferguson?
Ferguson.
Yes, ma'am.
And once I had the privilege to be on I'm sorry, I'm so nervous.
Please don't be nervous. I mean, we are just friends here talking, so make believe that we're just having a dialogue, a little conversation.
Yeah, but those people who made a decision that man was, is practically free now. He killed that boy, and all of them that are killing the children, they are killing them out of fear. That's what they say. But it's really not out of fear. It's out of hate.
Martha, you just said something that is so important, because I've so long believed it. You said they're killing. I think I understood you to say they're not killing out of fear. They're killing out of hate. And if you hear some discussions when it's off the cuff, in other words, when folks do not believe you are there, the type of conversations that you have. Let me tell you, I can tell you that I've sat in a Starbucks before and had a long conversation with somebody who forgot for 1 minute who they were talking to, and shocked themselves what they were able to tell me about doing something to those people. Okay, so you hit the magical touch when you said most of these killings evidently is not out of fear, it is out of hate. Continue, please, Martha.
Yes, it is out of hate. It is not out of fear. But a jury, I heard that there were 3 black folks on that jury, and they are also from that city. Don't you think those people fear for their lives? If they had even said they were going to vote against the man?
Well, there's empirical evidence to that, and this is my friend Jack that just called. I like to always talk about having empirical evidence. This isn't Darren Wilson's, the executioner of Michael Brown. This isn't his first time having problems with other young black men. There are videos with him manhandling others as well, all over the internet. These things are not very difficult to find. Anybody who wants to have truth and facts, they don't have to go seeking. There's another call coming in right there, Em. Yeah, they don't have to be seeking much. You can find these facts if you want. If you are not trying to conform your thought to the belief that just maybe there was a reason for this guy to be executed, then you won't do the necessary searching. But you know what? I can make a narrative almost immediately that proves the point, Martha. So you are right. And I think of that statement that you made, I think that is something that I will have to add to my blog tomorrow. It's not that they fear, it's that they hate. I appreciate your thought, Martha.
They hate, but also the people on the jury are also fearful.
I understand.
Because if they talk the truth, there would be
repercussions.
Yeah, there would be repercussions, and they would probably get killed also.
Let me tell you, Martha, the thing about it is the young man who released the video of Wilson manhandling him, before he made himself known, he made sure he was out of the reach of Wilson. But Martha, I have to run to Bobby. So look, I appreciate you calling, Martha. Please keep listening. Please keep calling at KPFT. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bobby.
Yeah. The difference, the guy said that we're like KPFT is we are like Fox. And he's sort of right in a way just because their point of view, from the point of view and being opposite, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But KPFT is not like a billionaire waking up every morning imagining disturbing propaganda in order to control a population and the voting and the rights and the duties and the liberties of people against other people every day, and having a $1 billion budget and a corporate network and a TV media that's nationwide, that is scientifically, as much as mercantilism can do it, aimed at his purposes only and his only interests and the interests of companies that are out to take away your rights to any kind of choice by voting. That's a difference, okay?
Look, let me tell you, you hit it on the money when you say that, right? Because, and by the way, since you brought that up, I'm going to use this as a segue to tell folks one thing. Folks, the people that work here at KPFT do this all on a volunteer basis, and what we do is we offer not the antiseptic opinions or the antiseptic information you get on ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox News, and all these other places. We have to do this because it's a passion of us being Americans. It's a passion of us wanting to do what's right by our fellow man, not corporate values. So please do remember your thoughts this Christmas holiday, and please go to our website, kpft.org, and donate to keep us on air and make sure that there is a vibrant response to those on the outside who are trying to be the ones that are really destroying our democracy. Bobby is absolutely correct. While we have a separate point of, or a different point of view, or likely the opposite point of view of Fox News, not only is our point of view the correct view because it is based on mathematical facts, it is based on historical facts and other facts, we are reproducible. Remember how Benghazi is no longer a story that they're keeping up, even though it came ahead dead. But anyway, not new subject. Bobby, finish what you need to say, my friend.
Well, yeah, it's just like that. They can manufacture their facts, and so that if anybody who doesn't manufacture facts but tells it to people who are non-historical, well, it sounds like fantasy to them because they just heard it on Fox News and it was presented as a fact. And they don't know any better because they haven't learned the history, therefore they're going to repeat it. In other words, they're going to force me also to repeat it. I don't mind if they repeat their flawed history. That's fine. But they force us to. Look, and the point is they have the corporate will and power and ability.
Bobby, you need to, when we're talking about these social justice issues, when we're talking about these, the income and wealth inequality, I want you to make sure to remember to be listening, which we do a lot of talking about that here on Politics Done Right. And before I forget, I want to give kudos to my friend on Wednesday nights at 10 p.m., Think Wing Radio with Mike Honig. Please remember to listen to that show as well. Wonderful show that does a whole lot of social justice as well and many other things. But I think you got some numbers for me, Jacob.
Right. Just sort of as a public service announcement, there is an app for everything, and one app that I'm tuning into right now is actually 50 Radio, which is a police scanning software.
Right.
And currently the Missouri State Patrol has a listener feed or a listener count of nearly 83,000 people. So
wow.
If you want to check out, I guess, more directly what's going on from
Tell
their
them the name
feed,
of the app again.
50 Radio. And I bought the Pro Edition, so it's there's you get the basic free, and there is I can't remember what it costs because
we can't talk money on KPFT.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, right. I can't remember it anyway. So, but yeah. So you can go check that out if you want to. I guess get a straight feed from at least the police side of what's going on.
Hey, thanks, Jacob. We need to hear those things. Oh, you have another quick thing to tell us, Bobby?
Well, no, I just think I haven't heard, but is it true that they no-bill the policeman or
Completely
not?
no-bill. All 5
No
charges, no-billed. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So what will happen now is that there will be a federal case against him. So I wouldn't get my panties in a twist over this. There's other remedies for these people who essentially, exactly like the lady said, they tell out of, it's fear, but it's generated by false hate.
Right.
And there's no reason for it at all. And it's mostly a lot of ignorance, and it's just prejudice and lack of education and understanding. They don't understand. That's the problem. Okay, so I'll sign off with all that. I think you guys are doing pretty good.
Thank you, sir. You're a good man. You keep up the good work. Okay, and keep on listening.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anyhow, Terry, give me your comments.
Small thing to remember. All of the information that we're hearing regarding the grand jury and the charges is coming from the district attorney, the district attorney for that county. And we do not know if the information that he's giving us is accurate. Now, for all the people who are saying that this is an application of law, as the attorney said, we have to follow the law. Ask yourself this question. If the situation was reversed and it was a black cop shooting a white kid, and if you think that the outcome would be similar, then the justice system and the apathy in Ferguson, Missouri isn't the problem. You are.
You know, Terry, we have one of the reasons I always talk to everybody and say what we have to look at is we must be honest. That's the way we solve problems. We have to be honest about what is occurring, what has occurred, and what will occur. We cannot do anything about what has occurred. We can work with what's occurring, but we can absolutely change what is to occur. And we have to learn that as a society. We have to learn the responsibility, and this responsibility comes from all sections, all sides of this society. It comes from all sides of this society. Earlier on, after I started the program a bit quite upset, a bit too emotional, in fact, but the message, what was on, was quite fresh. It's interesting because I never write blogs when I'm upset because, you want to make sure to be always within the particular zone. But I think it is important that we let folks know that we must control what is to occur. And we can only do that by being honest, entirely and completely honest. And those that are willing to do that, whomever you are the ones that's going to change society. I admonished Ferguson, and in as much as Ferguson didn't pull that trigger, Ferguson society at large, if Ferguson voters were out there doing their thing, they would have had a society where it is known that they do matter.
Egberto, can I say something real quick, though?
Please do.
We seem to want to spin this narrative that the specifics of this case don't matter and the optics don't matter. I have no idea what the exact percentages are, but I would...
Terry, I'm coming on a hard stop, so do it quick for me.
Sure. There are a panoply of black cops in this country, yet you don't ever see these incidents involving black cops shooting white kids.
Right.
You don't see Hispanic cops shooting white kids.
I got to go, but you're absolutely right. Thank you very much, Terry. I need to take this quick guy. He's just calling. Make your point real quick, sir. Real quick.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Make your point very quickly. I got 15 seconds for you.
Oh, okay. Well, to be honest with you, I'm going to make the point. The point is about demographics. If we understand anything about demographics, you'll understand that this has been the same thing that's been going on 450 years.
Okay, sir, I gotta have to leave it. You're correct, 250 years, but we are at a hard stop, and the next program has to start. 400, and you're correct, and we gotta go. So thank you for calling in, sir. Sir, or folks, thank you for listening to Politics Done Right. Have a wonderful night. Thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Williams. You can personally reach me by sending an email to egberto@politicsdoneright.com. Remember, Egberto is spelled E-G-B-E-R-T-O. Change starts with you. 90.1 KPFT gives you information not tainted by corporate interest. Please visit kpft.org and contribute. Let's ensure continued access to real information and news remain available to all. Again, thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right.